much for sharing that. Thank you all the kids for participating. It was really wonderful listening to you guys speak and discuss. And thank you so much, Kranti for hosting that session and for giving us such wonderful insight. And also explaining about the full moon, because yesterday when I was driving, the moon looked absolutely beautiful. And now I have more insight onto that. So thank you so much. So with this, we'll begin our next portion for today. We have our guest speaker, Sumit Chauhan, here to talk on a certain topic. Before we move forward, I would just like to give a brief introduction on Mr. Sumit Chauhan. Sumit Chauhan is an Ambedkarite journalist. He is serving his community through journalism. Sumit is the founding editor of The Shudra and the News Beak, a community media organization dedicated to the marginalized section of the society, popularly known as Dalits in India. After studying journalism from the country's top media school, Indian Institute of Mass Communication in New Delhi, he started his career with ABP News. Sumit also has worked with Hindi news channels, Z News, India News, and News Nation for many years in various important positions. He has more than 10 years of experience in the field of journalism. He has special abilities in reporting, political coverage, script writing, video editing, documentary making, research, fact checking, and digital journalism. In April 2021, the country's
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, so sorry about that. In April 2021, the country's prestigious magazine Outlook included Sumit in the list of the top 50 influential Dalit personalities of the country. Sumit's dream is to establish a national Bahujan media because India's mainstream media serves the interests of a few castes and harshly ignores the deprived classes. The Shudra and the Newspeak have a special recognition in the field of Ambedkarite journalism and are constantly trying to raise the voice of the deprived sections. In 2024, he received the AANA Muknayak Excellence in Journalism Award for Newspeak. Sumit Chauhan is serving his community through journalism. Thank you so much for giving us your time today, Sumit ji. I would like to hand over the session to you so you can share some words on your topic for today, which is the 2024 parliamentary elections and the standing of Bahujan politics. So thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti, for the introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, maybe. Or yeah, you're audible, I think.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And I would really like to thank you, everybody. Greetings to all members of the Ambedkar Association of North America, Jai Bhim. I'm grateful to you for inviting me here today and, giving me the opportunity to speak about the very important topic. I also express my gratitude on behalf of my entire team for awarding the Newsbeak this year's Mook Nayak Excellency in Journalism Award. Your recognition will inspire us, to work even more harder and continue Ambedkar journalism. So we're really thankful to Ambedkar Association of North America for the Mook Nayak Excellence in Journalism Award. So let me come to today's topic. The topic is 2024 parliamentary election and standing of Bahujan politics. I will try to help you, to gain a good understanding of this subject. I'll try to help you out there. The 2024 Lok Sabha election proved to be historic in many ways. You might have a look at the election result, how the campaign was going on. So it was very historic in many ways. So this election, the people, taught a lesson to those forces that claim to be invincible and unbeatable. The Modi government was saying that, okay, we are unbeatable, we are invincible, nobody can beat us. We are going to have that 400 par 400 plus seats in India. So the people itself, the community, the Dalit Bahujan people, they taught a lesson to those forces actually. So the Dalit Bahujan population communities brought the self-proclaimed omnipotent figure to the knees actually, because it was really powerful. Results were really amazing. So they, proclaimed omnipotent figure to his knees actually. The 2024 Lok Sabha election was not only previous general election. It was really rather it had the great impact on the constitution also, because it had the constitution was at its stake. The people were saying that we are going to change the constitution of India. So in such context, the election was really good. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi had given the slogan of 400 par, 400 plus seats in the Lok Sabha election, and this slogan reflected the overconfidence and arrogance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, because they were elected twice. So in third term, they were saying, okay, we are going to have 400 seats in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, and this is going to be a very huge victory. So it was showing some kind of overconfidence and arrogance of the current regime. So and in this arrogance, several BJP member of parliament began stating that Modi needed 400 par seat, 400 plus seats to change the country's constitution, which was drafted by Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. There were a number of people from BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, RSS, organization. They were openly claiming that, okay, after having the 400 plus seats, we are going to change, we are going to amend the constitution. Like BJP MP Anand Kumar Hegde and BJP candidate from Rajasthan, Jyoti Mirdha, they openly repeated that the 400 seat, 400 par seat is, after receiving you're winning 400 seats, the constitution would be altered as they wished. So they will change the constitution. There were videos circulating on social media. So this was a very heated argument. And one of the advisor to Prime Minister Vivek Debroy, who is the chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he wrote an article in a newspaper calling for a new constitution, and suggested that we should change the current constitution, which was drafted by Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. So in a national daily, he wrote an article and he said that we need a new constitution. New amendments has to be there in the constitution. So we should draft a new constitution. So given such statements and the past 10 years of Modi's government's rule, the Dalit Bahujan communities realized that this election was very decisive, and it is going to make a big impact on the Constitution of India and the democracy of the country. So it was a very important election for the communities actually. So during Modi's 10-year tenure, crime against Dalit and Adivasis increased constantly, and even Prime Minister Modi was saying that I belong to the OBC community. I'm here to help the Dalit people. He was the feet of sweepers, people from the community, and he was claiming that he's the very a good person for the community. But during his 10 years tenure, if we look at the National Crime Record Bureau data, there is a massive increase in the crime against Dalits and Adivasis particularly. In 2020, 14, there were over 42,000 cases of atrocities against scheduled caste, which rose to over 57,000 in 2022. You look at the numbers, that how these numbers were rising very rapidly, and there was no action against the culprits. There was no such kind of mechanism to deal with the situation. So cases were really rising, and people were looking at how the attacks are there on the Dalits people community. People were suffering. We saw the Una Kand, we saw the Hathras Kand, we saw Lakhimpur Kheri Kand. So numbers of such brutal atrocities cases were there, and people were very afraid of situation that, okay, this government is not there to protect us. Attacks on the reservation for Dalit and Adivasi and backward classes was very, people were aware about that, what is happening on the reservation situation. SC/ST OBC right wings were, these were infringed, and the backlog of SC/ST OBC position was not filled. There were numbers of vacancies which were left, and the backlog was there, but those vacancies were not being filled. And SC/ST community were very worried about their interest. The government recruited, 100% upper caste at the IS level, the secretary level, through lateral entry program, which was introduced by the Modi government. But 100% reservation, indirectly reservation was given to the upper caste people. So they were just, recruiting some particular caste community people at very IS level kind of, position, the secretary level position in government of India. So those were very crucial, but SC/ST OBC people were not being recruited. So there was clear discrimination, and such people were facing kind of discrimination within the entire recruitment process. Government companies, like Air India, which implemented scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes reservation, were privatized, and the reservation was ended. So numbers of companies, the undertaking PSUs, which was there, they were sold out, and a reservation was ended over the organization. So it was really against the interest of the community. And crime against Dalit, and even the Muslims were also rose, and Modi government was really brutal to the Muslim communities also. Adivasi lands were forcefully, they were taking it, and forests like Hasdev and other, the very forest which was home to the tribal community was sold to the corporate houses in the past 10 years government in Modi. Bulldozers were used to demolish Muslim homes. We have seen the numbers of bulldozing activities. The actions were there on particularly Muslim communities. So they were deliberately doing crime against Muslims in form of governance. So consequently, there was significant discontent among scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and OBC and the minorities community against the Modi government in last 10 years. So Dalit Bahujan activists, basically they were working on the issues, and these activists constantly made the public aware of how the Modi government was attacking the constitution. Dalit Bahujan media also spread the message to every house of the community member that over the past 10 years that they were warning actually that the Modi government was a threat to the constitution and was not working according to the Constitution of India, which was drafted by Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. And leaders of the organizations like BJP, RSS, and the Hindutva fold people, they were openly declared that their intent to establish a Hindu Rashtra, the Hindu Raj, and implemented to implement Manusmriti instead of the Constitution of India. So there were openly numbers of people are there who are just claiming that we are going to make Hindu Rashtra, we are going to make Hindu Raj reality. So and we need a new Manusmriti kind of constitution, not this constitution which is by the Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. So the only hope for the marginalized communities about the Constitution of India, because it protects their right, it protects their interests. So Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar has given them equality before law. They have given them everything. So the Constitution is really sacred document for the communities people, because without Constitution, without the safeguard of their rights, nobody is there to protect them. We have seen that what happened before the Constitution was not there. So thus in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, SCST, OBC, and minority communities, they united to defeat the forces against the Constitution. So this was the really important turnout actually. And the groundwork laid by like Dalit Bahujan leaders like Manevar Kashiram Sahib or Benji or Prakash Ambedkar Sahib, they enabled opposition parties to reap the benefit because they prepared the ground. And this Lok Sabha election was truly onto the social justice agenda. The 2024 Lok Sabha election was crucial because it was fought on the issue of social justice. It was totally on social justice versus Modi, Constitution versus Modi. So it was really important in that term. The hard work of these Bahujan leaders and the Dalit Bahujan movement and the activists, and they ensured that all parties raised the voice of social unity, social justice, to save the constitution, to save the democracy against the communal polarization by the Hindutva forces like BJP and RSS. So it was a turning, movement for the community. Opposition parties like Congress, Samajwadi Party, Aam Aadmi Party, TMC, RJD, DMK, they formed the India Alliance, and tapping into the SST OBC sentiments and framing the election as a Constitution versus Modi. So this entire election, you will see that this was fought on the Constitution versus Modi. They openly claiming Rahul Gandhi was holding the copy of Constitution, and he was saying that Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav was holding this Constitution. They were saying that this Constitution is in danger. This is going to be a very historic moment, and once the Modi government is there in the power, they are going to vanish the Constitution of India. So opposition parties declared that this election was about saving the country and the Constitution and the democracy of India, because Modi is also he's working, he's behaving like a dictator, and if he's there in the third term, so things are going to change forever. they warned that if Modi returned for a third term, it would be the last election, as Modi would end elections and there will be no more elections, and he will declare himself as a dictator by, abolishing the Constitution of India. So this message was there on the ground. Dalit Bahujan communities understood this message and voted strongly against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because this message was really a very impactful message was there, and people were afraid, okay, this Modi, because we have seen the last 10 years rule of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that how things were going really bad for the community. So people were afraid that what will happen if he is there in third term and he's going to change the constitution, because his member of parliament, his candidates were openly declaring, they were saying, they were announcing that, okay, we need 400 par seat just to change the constitution of India. So once we are there in the power, or in third term, once we have the 400 plus seats, we are going to change. The first thing which we are going to change is to change the constitution of India. So this message was really impactful, and Dalit Bahujan communities, they understood the message, and strongly they voted against Prime Minister Modi in the Lok Sabha election 2024. And we have seen that there are numbers which support this claim. The Lokniti CSDS survey indicates that the upper caste Hindus, they did not abandon BJP. They were very supportive to BJP, and they were with the BJP only, and they voted for BJP. There is a survey by Lokniti CSDS survey, with most upper caste, voting for the BJP and its allies. I would say that 99% of the Savarna people, the upper caste people, they strongly were with the BJP, and they supported and they voted for BJP. However, OBC caste and scheduled tribes, they abandoned Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and which proved fatal for the BJP. The BJP, which won over 300 seats in 2019 election, was, just to reduced to just 240 seats in the parliamentary election of 2024. So this was a huge decline for BJP, and just because of the SC/ST, OBC people, minority people were fighting against the forces. So the result is there, that reflects in the result itself. In UP particularly, you will see the Dalit and OBC caste, they blocked the way of BJP. The BJP, there is a very famous proverb in politics of India कि दिल्ली का रास्ता जो है वो यूपी से होकर गुजरता है. The way to Delhi goes through the UP. So UP, because it has around 80 Lok Sabha constituency in UP. So it is a huge, big state, big important constituencies are there. Prime Minister himself is fighting from Varanasi in UP. So this is going to be a very important state for all the political parties. And UP particularly, you will see that Dalit and Adivasi, the OBC caste, they blocked the way of BJP, and BJP, which had won 62 seats in UP in 2019 elections, was reduced to just 33 seats in the current election. So it was a great, big setback for the BJP. And even in Ayodhya, where the BJP campaigned on the Ram temple, they lost with Avdesh Prasad, who is also from the scheduled caste. Avdesh Prasad is from the scheduled caste community, and he defeated BJP's candidate in Ayodhya itself, because the entire election was all about Ram. They were, just campaigning that we have built Ram. There were songs like "Jo Ram ko laye hain, hum unko layenge." They have brought, Ram temple. We are going to bring them in power. So the entire election was polarized, and people were just, they were asking what's on the name of Ram temple in Ayodhya. There was a great opening of the temple in January, and then after that there's a huge campaign. Every section of media, the Manu media, they are campaigning every day, showing the lives from the Ayodhya, and raising that, okay, what kind of development is there in Ayodhya, how Ayodhya is gaining its dignity, how their Ayodhya people are enjoying the development, and everybody was just praising Ayodhya and Ram temple, and BJP also, that, okay, this is after more than 500 years of the kind of slavery, they have brought justice to the Hindu people, and they have built the grand temple in Ayodhya. So that was going to be a very, something really important to the BJP and RSS people. But that's a great history. History repeat itself, because when Babri Masjid was demolished, after that Mandal versus Kamandal campaign was going on, and then whenever Kanshiram Sahib and Mulayam Singh Yadav, they formed an alliance, and there was a nara, there was a slogan that Mile Mulayam Kanshiram, Hawa ho gaye Jai Shri Ram. So that Mandal versus Kamandal era, the time of Mandal versus Kamandal is really repeating itself in 2024's election. And you'll see that BJP, which was campaigning on the Ram temple, they lost with Avdesh Prasad, who is a guy from the scheduled caste in Ayodhya. So that is going to be that was really a surprising result, and everybody was surprised that how BJP even lost Ayodhya, where they were claiming that we have built Ram temple, we have done everything over there. But this is how the democracy functions. Democracy has its own way to prove and to disassociate with such people. So democracy actually played a very crucial role in this particular election. And the Congress, the Samajwadi Party alliance, they were in India alliance in UP. They performed exceptionally well in UP. And Akhilesh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party chief, promoted the PDA, which was there in terms of NDA, which is a National Democratic Alliance for BJP people. He said that we are going to have PDA formula, which is Pichda, Dalit, and Adivasi. So this formula, which worked successfully in UP, they were talking about Pichda people, like backward people, Dalit and Adivasi, and they were having the conversation around the social justice. They were talking about reservation. They were talking about representation. They were talking about crime against Dalit. They were talking about the backlog, from the community. So this particular formula PDA, Dalit Pichda Adivasi, which worked successfully in UP for Samajwadi Party and Congress also. Dalit caste in UP supported the Samajwadi Party. This was really the first time a great, event in the history of UP politics and even the nation politics. This is the first time in UP Dalit caste voted for Samajwadi Party. Earlier, when in 2019 election, when Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party, Benji's party was in alliance, so they voted for it. Earlier, when Mulayam Singh Yadav, whenever Kanshiram Sahib were in alliance, they voted for them. But this time, Samajwadi Party was not in alliance with Bahujan Party, and it was having alliance with the Congress only, but still Dalit caste in UP, they supported Samajwadi Party, enabling it to win 37 seats. This is the first time they won Samajwadi Party's career's biggest, victory in UP. They won 37 seats in UP. This success is a prime example of Bahujan politics, that where Dalits and backward classes united to defeat the BJP, because the message was there that this is going to be the last election if Prime Minister Modi is going to win in the third term. So he is going to change the constitution, is going to end the democracy, and there would be no more election, and it will be a single dictator person who will be ruling the country, like Russia and other countries. So people were having this message very closely to their heart. They were the narrative was there. The India Alliance people, they were successful to build this narrative that okay, this constitution is at stake, the democracy is at stake, so we have to defeat. And the Prime Minister Modi was very overconfident. Then that's why he gave that slogan, "Char so far will be definitely getting 400 plus seats in election." So that was showing his overconfidence. So people themselves, they were united, and this narrative of constitution versus Modi was really strong in this election, and it worked. And if you see the UP's politics, you will see that Bahujan Samaj Party, Benji's Bahujan Samaj Party, BSP, they were not in the alliance. They lost very badly. BSP decided to contest the election alone, but failed to win even a single seat in the parliamentary election. The BSP's vote share also dropped by around 10% compared to its previous Lok Sabha election, and failing to 9.37%, because around 10% of their vote share they dropped, and it reduced to around 9.37% election vote share in the parliamentary election, with some of even Benji's core Jata vote bank, you will say, the base which is really a vote bank to the Bahujan Samaj Party, Jata vote bank also were sleeping away. They were also sleeping away, and there is a slightly, you will see that there is a decline in the vote share. People were from the communities of the Jata people. They were also voting for the India Alliance, and that is the reason that India Alliance, the Samajwadi Party and Congress Party, they won a very significant number of seats in UP. BSP's decline can be, attributed to several factors, including the perception that it was the BJP's B team. I was, covering the election. I was traveling across the UP and different area of the nation for election coverage, and this message was very strong. Like earlier, I said na, that this narrative was very strong that this election is going to be the last election. The Constitution versus Modi narrative was well also very strong. And with this, narrative, there was another narrative in the UP that BSP is a B team of BJP. That is how the opposition, how the different political parties were campaigning, because BSP was fighting independently. That was their own decision, but people were talking about it. That why, if every party is there, they are getting united. Even the true those parties in states are, they are enemy to each other. They were getting united to defeat Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So people were talking about that why BSP is not, contesting in alliance. There were numbers of reasons that why Benji didn't join the India Alliance, but this message was there. I would say that when I was traveling to different area, I was talking to people from the community. I was talking to general people, and this message was there. Ki, no, BSP is a B team of BJP, and this narrative was very strong, and BSP was not able to, break down this narrative. This was a false narrative. This was a fake narrative, but it was a very strong narrative. And BSP itself was not able to break it down to, to established that no, we are an independent party. We are the third largest party of the country, and we are fighting election for the community. They were not able to do it, and that's why this impacted on the voter of the Bahujan Samaj Party, the core vote bank also. And you will see that entire election was Modi versus us. That was the politics of India in last few years. You will see that every political party was attacking directly to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his policies, but BSP was not very aggressive in terms of attacking Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his policies in terms of everything. So Modi versus us formula was not there within the BSP party. So which was supporting that it's a label that BJP is a B team narrative, and it was really destroying the image of party in grassroots actually. And there was, I'll say, the next reason for BSP's decline was this: there was distrust in Muslim community, because in Muslim, we have seen that numbers of, crimes were there against Muslims. Mob lynching was there, bulldozing their houses, they were killing their people. Riots were there in Delhi, and numbers of such activity were there on hijab, on burqa, on every Muslim, festival. There were some kind of politics, but BSP was not very, closely supporting them. They were like openly, they were just saying and releasing statements, but on the ground, they were not seen anywhere with the Muslim community. So there was a distrust in Muslim community, and this narrative of, that BJP is B team, BSP is a B team of BJP was strong, and this just distrust, was there within the Muslim community, and that's why you will see that even after giving numbers of seats, more than 17 seats to the Muslim candidates by Behenji, Muslim community, they didn't vote for BSP. So I would say that there was a trust distrust in Muslim community, and BSP was not able to win their hearts to develop the trust within the community. So Muslim community didn't support BSP, and some actions were also criticized, like throwing out Akash Anand from party and saying him mature, that is immature, and he was thrown out of the party. So that was a very wrong message to the BSP supporters. Because in the course of prime elections, and when everybody was talking about winning elections, BJP was really working hard. Other political parties, India Alliance, was really working hard to win the seats. BSP itself thrown out their own firebrand leader like Akash Anand, who was coming out with the really aggressive speeches and was using his tone to woo the supporters of the party, and he was becoming popular within the community itself. So that action was also criticized. And I'll say that in BSP, they are doing old style of politics. They are not using new tools which can be used for the betterment of society. Like for example, you'll see that BSP is not there on social media. They were not using social media as a tool to impact on election. They were not doing it. Whether when you'll see that Aam Aadmi Party, Congress, or Samajwadi Party, or BJP, they have their IT cell. They have a team of more than 100 people who are 24/7 using social media and putting their agenda. They are setting their agenda. But you'll see BSP is not there on social media. Benji's account is there, but they don't have any official parties Twitter handle or the Instagram handle or the Facebook page. You'll not see that such kind of activities are there on social media. So they were not using new style of politics. They were just using the old style of politics, like doing rally, just a rally. Single Benji was the star campaigner, and she was you know holding her rallies. And those rallies were like in 2 3 constituencies. That was a joint rally for 2 3 constituencies. So that becomes a very difficult situation for a candidate, because if 2 3 candidates are jointly having a rally, what impact it is going to create, what kind of impact it is going to create within the supporters actually. So the other parties who are there on the grounds 24/7, they are doing road show, they are doing rallies, they are doing door to door campaign, they are meeting people, they are doing nukkad meetings. So such aggressive campaign was there, but BJP was not very aggressively doing campaign. So there was a weak campaign, I would say. So Dalit politics is going to change in many ways because of the weakening of BSP. And there was a gap between the leadership and supporters within the BSP. We'll see that people are not able to meet their leaders, people are not able to talk to their leaders, and you will see that there's a gap. And they because the decision was there just to elect just to fight election alone. So not making any alliance with any party is also very harmful for BSP. It was not good decision. They should have a alliance with any party, because in 2024 in 2014 you will see that BSP was fighting alone and but won 0 seat. And in 2019 election, BSP was in alliance with Samajwadi Party. They won around 10 seat. So in 2024 it was again fighting alone and lost to 0 seat. So people were saying that they should have an alliance with any like-minded party, but that was decision by supreme leadership of BSP. So that was not good in terms of politics. So the weakening of the BSP is undoubtedly detrimental to the Dalit Bahujan community in India. But the BSP must understand that it needs to change its electoral strategy and engage with the community. They need to have more ways to interact with the community and to develop that belief within the community. And only then it can have a better future. It can have a better hope within the community. Although Benji has today reinstated Akash Anand in the BSP and appointed him as the national coordinator and her successor. There was a meeting, review meeting today, and she again reinstated Akash Anand in the BSP and appointed him as the national coordinator and her successor. this, which is a good message, and this will send a positive message to BSP supporters. And but much more needs to change within the party. It is really important. We have seen some activities in Maharashtra also. Vanchit Bahujan Agadi, Prakash Ambedkar Sahib, he was also fighting alone, although he was accusing India Alliance parties that they are not ready to take him in the alliance and not giving the favorable seat. So he fought alone, but lost to every seat, and they were not able to win any seat. So in Maharashtra also, Dalit Bahujan politics was at its very, would say that that is not going to change something really good in the Maharashtra. So they lost it in Maharashtra also. And in UP, we have seen that there is a new significant change in Dalit leadership in UP particularly, because we have seen that Bhim Army Chief Chandrasekhar Azad, who won a landslide victory in Nagina. He achieved a landslide victory in Nagina schedule that was a reserve seat, but with the help of Muslim community and the scheduled caste community, they formed around 70% vote share in the Nagina seat, and he won by more than 1,52,000 votes. So, which was really great numbers. So, as a result, a large portion of the Dalit community will be drawn to him, and if he proves himself as a capable member of parliament, as a leader, his stature could go further. It could grow further, and people would look at him as a hope, and they will, might see him as an option to the Bahujan Samaj Party. And now Dalit community may look at him as an option, and we might get more support within the community. So he's going to be you know, uh, a great figure up in upcoming days, but he has to prove. I would say that he has to prove, he has to win the trust within the community. And if he proves himself as a better and capable leader of the community, his stature could grow further, I would say. So Dalit politics in the country is at a decisive juncture within the coming times, which is going to be a very crucial role. So Dalit politics is going to change. Dalit politics is looking for a new role models, looking for a new hopes, and things are changing within the Dalit politics itself. Over the 2024 Lok Sabha election, it proved to be historic. Kanshiram Sahib jo hai, he used to say that we need a weak government, and we don't need a strong government, because one that we can ban and make work for the welfare of society. A weak government can be banned, and we can compel them to work for the welfare of society. So it seems that this time the country has a very weak government, and that cannot function as a dictator. They now cannot say speak a single word against the constitution. Even when NDA meeting was there in the parliament, Prime Minister Narendra Modi started by going to the Constitution of India. So now nobody can dare to speak against the Constitution of India, Baba Sahib's Constitution of India, and this is going to be a very crucial time for the nation. Bihar's, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, they are the current kingmakers of the government, and there could be a significant upheaval in Indian politics in the future. So we have to we have to see it very carefully. We have to look at carefully that any kind of upheaval in Indian politics in the future may happen. And however, it is certain that the agenda of social justice is now set in India, and you'll see that all opposition parties understand that Ambedkarism is the certain is the answer to the hardcore Hindutva forces. If you talk about Hindutva in response to Hindutva politics, there can be only the Ambedkarite kind of politics. The Ambedkarwad is there. So therefore, the politics of the coming years will be based on Ambedkarism, on social justice, on constitution, and now it remains to be seen whether the opposition parties that the Dalit community trusted will live up to their expectations or not. So opposition parties have to prove to the community that if they have voted for them, if they have trusted them, if they believe that they are going to save their interest, and they are going to do really good for the community. So they have to prove themselves, the opposition parties. But this election result was really impressive. This result was really great for the community, and we need a government which is weak, which is not capable of taking independently any decision without looking at the interest of community. That because they if they have the full majority, if they are into power with their full capabilities, they won't care about the Dalit communities. They won't care about the weak community people. So, in such scenario, I would say this 2024 40 Lok Sabha elections results were really amazing, and it is going to be a very good for the community, because now the community would be in the center. Everybody will be talking about the Dalit Bahujan community. If you look at the cabinet of Prime Minister Modi, he inducted around 27 minister from the OBC community in his cabinet. There are 10 minister from the scheduled caste, and there are 5 ministers from the Adivasi tribal community in the cabinet of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So now he is forced to have more and more representation from the community, and to talk about the idea of social justice, to talk about the constitution, to talk about the democracy of India. So now they're not to talk that we are going to change, we need 400 par to change the constitution of India. And the threat of the Hindu Raj was there, because people were afraid that these people, those who are who are there in power, are openly saying that we are going to build the Hindu Raj, the Hindutva, Hindu Rashtra, and will be changing the constitution. Will have a Bhagwa flag. Will not having this Taranga. We are going to end the democracy. We are going to implement Manusmriti rather than Constitution of India. So that threat was there. The Hindu Rashtra threat was also there, because how the way they were celebrating the Ram Mandir and the Hindutva politics, it was a threat to the community people. People were afraid that, okay, these people are there in power, and now they're like openly celebrating everything, and inducting that Hindutva ideology, forcefully using their power against the weak community people. So once they are there in the power, and third term would be there, this is going to be a very, very dangerous for the community members. So the Hindutva threat was also there. So I would say that people were fighting the election, not the opposition parties, but the community members from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, minority communities. They were fighting election against Prime Minister Modi, and they defeated him. The opposition parties were just, they were just cashing the sentiments of the communities. They were, because this sentiment was already there within the community, that this Hindutva forces, the RSS BJP kind of organizations are a threat to the Constitution of India, because they were mocking the Constitution. They were not implementing the Constitution. So the message was deeply rooted, and election was Constitution versus Modi, and opposition parties were just were able to understand the sentiments of the community. And these communities from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, they changed the entire elections, not the upper caste people, because upper caste people, according to Lokniti CSDS, they were supporting Prime Minister Narendra Modi like earlier. So they were not changing their political behavior. They were not changing their political, electoral patrons. So they were voting for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But the SCST OBC communities, they united, and they defeated Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they defeated the idea of Hindutva. They defeated the threat of Hindu Rashtra. So that is going to be a very crucial election for the community in terms of so many ways. And in upcoming years, I would see that the agenda of social justice would be the prime agenda. So the social justice would be really important agenda for the upcoming elections, and that is going to be a very crucial, important topic to the SCST OBC people, because we have to set our own agenda. We have to set the idea of social justice, and the Ambedkarism is the only answer of the Manuwadis. This idea is really important, and now political parties are also understanding it. They are realizing the power of SC/ST OBC community, the Bahujan community, and now they are, forced to set the agenda on social justice. So this election is really important, and now again, I would say that it remains to be seen whether the opposition parties, that the Dalit community, the OBC, the Adivasis trusted, will live up to their expectations or not. So it has to be looked at in a way. So I will conclude my speech here, and again, I would thank you, everybody, and thank you once again for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak. And this election is going to have a great impact for upcoming, elections of India. Jai Bhim, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sumitri. Thank you for updating us and giving us more insight into the politics in India currently. So if anyone has any questions, please raise their hands or drop a question in the chat. And or if you have any comments to make, any other personal insights to share, please feel free to do that right now. You can just click on the raise hand icon at the bottom of your screen. So Sumaji, there's a question in the chat from Rajesh Chandra. I can read that out for you. He's asking whether social media plays an important role. Do you think the government will make a move to tighten social media?
Thank you, Rajesh. This is really very important question. See, there is a movie, a Bollywood movie. I don't know if you guys see it or not. There's a movie called Dabang, where Salman Khan and Sonakshi Sinha played the lead role. And there's a dialogue between Sonakshi Sinha and Salman Khan. That's in Hindi. कि थप्पड़ से डर नहीं लगता साहब, प्यार से डर लगता है. And that dialogue is there. So kabhi kabhi, I think like that if Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Home Minister Amit Shah, the two crucial people from the government of India, if they talk about about the role of media and social media, if they're talking casually to each other, how would they say this dialogue कि मीडिया से डर नहीं लगता साहब, social media से डर लगता है. So this is a really important tool. The social media is a really important tool, and it has a huge impact on the psyche of society. Now, the government itself is afraid of social media because you'll see that they have IT cell. I was talking about IT cell, that they have more than 100 people of team. They call it IT cell. They call it war room, and they 24/7 working on the fake narrative. They are working on the agenda. They are working on every social media platform, that how to shape the mind of the people, how to shape their opinion about the government of India. They spread fake news, they spread their fake agenda, and people are like, okay, what is the Modi is a superpower, they are going to do something really good for the country, and people were thinking like that. The WhatsApp university was there, but the social media influencers, the social media content creators, the Dalit Bahujan media people, Dalit Bahujan content creators, they were really playing a crucial role in shaping the community's mind, that how the Modi government is really bad for them, and how they are working against the interest of the community. So we were able to puncture their agenda, the balloon of their agenda, that how they are airing their balloon, but we were able to puncture their agenda, and that's a threat to the social to the government itself, because they can control the mainstream media, the alternate media, but the social media intermediaries, these are not controllable. They are not able to directly control them, and that's why the government of India is very strict to the social media influencers and community creators nowadays. You'll see the last the government in 2019, like the last tenure of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he was about to end his tenure, he brought a bill, broadcasting bill, and earlier in 21, there was a social media intermediary guidelines introduced by the government of India, and those are very strict in terms of content creation. And now this broadcasting bill, which was there for the public review, but it was not presented in the Parliament of India. But by this year, I believe that government of India is going to introduce that bill in the Parliament, and because they have numbers, they are in majority with the help of NDA, so that the bill can be passed within the houses, and that can be a law. So in those particular laws and the guidelines, there are numbers of sections which are really a threat to the community creators. Like, for example, I would say that there is a clause in that particular broadcasting bill that if you are creating something against the government of India, if you are criticizing the government of India, which can be they can say that it is anti-national, it is against the interest of nation, and they can take strict action against you. You have to create a redressal committee within your organization, and you have to be a member of the larger redressal committee, a self-regulatory committee, where the viewers can complain about your content. If they are not happy with your content, they can complain about it particularly. And the Ministry of Information and Broadcast, they can take action against you on basis of those complaint, and people from the INB ministry can raid your office. They can steal your equipment. They can take your mobile phones and the laptops and the computers, and they can arrest you. They can raid your offices. So such sections are already in the making. The law is already there on the public government website. So now I believe that by this term, they're going to pass this law, and they are going to regulate and to restrict the content creators. Now there is a threat, kind of it's a threat to the government of India, because whatever government of India is saying, the Modi media, the Manu media is they celebrate it. They say, okay, this is good for the nation, this government is doing really well for the nation. But only the social media, the alternate media is breaking their agenda. So they are a kind of threat to the government of India, particularly Modi government, and they are going to curb it, I believe.
Thank you so much, Samitji. May I request Mahendraji to unmute himself and ask the question that he wanted to ask?
Jai Bhim, Sumit sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you. We look up to you, the way you have emerged as a voice, and a quality and really professional, responsible voice on the social media. We really look up to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Thank you. So
all right, I just have a question around it. That okay, in this previous election, we talked about that there were some efforts made, but I would like to know a little more. That okay, were the sincere effort made by the opposition or the India Alliance, so as to make sure, so as to kind of include and provide the rightful kind of a respect to our parties, our leaders, our proven leaders like Behan Mayawati ji and our Maharashtra Ambedkar Sahab, Prakash Ambedkar Sahab. Were those efforts sincere enough, and was the due respect which was required for our leaders was given to them? Because when it comes to kind of a fight between oppressed versus oppressor, when oppressed are need to be kind of united, I think it's important somehow. Overall, the world politics, we have seen that okay, that is proven as well, that okay, it is important that when the oppressed community comes together, it is important that the leadership should be given to the weakest section, and probably that was the agenda, that was the kind of principle with which Manyar Kanshiram ji operated as well. When he was electing his candidates and making people stand up. So was there that kind of sentiment ever kind of maintained within the India Alliance? The challenge I see that okay, it is very easy for our community to get trained to go out and partner with opposition and kind of under the pseudo leadership, but we all know that okay, it has never worked in our favor. So how can we train our people to kind of stand on our own and probably stay away from these kind of a propaganda that okay, it's a B team versus C team or something like that?
See, I would say if you want to create a political atmosphere for the community, which is useful and which is really helpful for the community, it is the duty of the political parties which represent our identity. So the India Alliance was making some kind of efforts, although there were no open statement or the public statement by the any party that they invited Benji BSP in India Alliance, and she denied it. But there were internal sources, like because I'm a journalist, so I do talk to different people. So there were numbers of reports, and numbers of people were telling me that there was kind of conversation was going on, but that didn't work out. So they made some efforts, but they didn't work out. But I would say, if political situation is changing in the nation, it is the duty of the political party from the community, which shapes the future of Indian politics. So they need to understand that politics is changing, and the time is changed. People are looking for new hopes. People are looking for their betterment. So they have to change their political strategy also. So the political party which represent us, they need to be more accurate about elections. They need to be more strategically strong in terms of alliances, in terms of everything, because they have to make a government. If Bahujan Samaj Party or Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi is not able to win any seat independently, if they are not able to have their own the communities or the vote bank, they should have alliance with a like-minded party, because that is the need of an hour. That is need of the hour. So if they form an alliance with any like-minded party or the opposition parties, they have a good result, because we have seen in UP in 2014 when Benji's BSP was fighting alone, they won 0 seat. But in 2019, when Samajwadi Party was there in alliance, they won 10 seats. So that was really good for the Bahujan Samaj Party. But in 2024, they again, fighting. They were fighting alone, and they. Their vote share was dropped. The vote share, around 10% of the vote share was dropped out, and that went to 9.37%, and they didn't win any seat in the UP. And in Maharashtra also, Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi Party was not was not able to win any seat. So I would say ki, yes, definitely the opposition parties were just cashing the sentiment of the community, like I was telling you in my speech, that the ground was made by the Bahujan leaders, the ground of constitution, the ground of social justice, the ground of equality. It was built by the Bahujan leaders. And nowadays, because Bahujan leaderships are not able to carry the flag, they are not able to carry forward the legacy, they are not able to really do something for the community. Now they are sitting in their houses. They are nowhere. We are not able to see them in the ground. So they should take the elections seriously. They should think strategically more advanced, and if they are able to form alliances with the any like-minded party, and which can be used for the welfare of community, is really good. Because as Manavar Kashiram Sahib said, we need a weak government. We don't need a strong government. And if our parties are there in alliance, the weak government can definitely work for the welfare of the society. Like JDU, which is by the Nitish Kumar, they won around 13, 14 seats in Bihar, and Chandrababu Naidu is from TDP, Andhra Pradesh. He is also a kingmaker now. They were like not able to form a government in center all alone, but they are now kingmaker because of the alliance politics of India. So such kingmaker has to be there. If you're not able to become king, you should be the kingmaker. That strategy has to be there, and the Bahujan politics, the Bahujan political parties needs to understand. We know that the other political parties are not good for us. but you have to see the political behavior. You have to see that how people are changing, how the needs of politics are changing, and people might also look for another options.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sumit ji. We also have like a few questions in the chat. The first one was there was 165 seats won with 200 votes difference. And what does it, iske kya maya, what does that mean? I guess it's by Sanjay Sicily.
He's saying that there was a 165 seats won with 200 votes difference. No, no, no. There is no. Might be 2-3 seats, but not 165 seats won with the 200 votes. That's a very less votes. If it happened, it might be a very difficult situation for the opposition parties, and they are going to change. It would have a role to the politics of India actually. So the number is not correct. There are some seats which are lost and won by the around 4,000 votes, 5,000 votes. Like in Meerut, there are the scheduled caste lady was there, Sunita Verma. So Sunita Verma was a candidate from Samajwadi Party. She lost by 10,000 votes in Meerut seat. So there are numbers of seats where the margin is around 2,000, 4,000, but that happens in the politics, but not 165 seats.
Oh, thank you. And the next one by Manish. Do you think videos from Dhruv Rathi influenced voting in Hindu Heartbelt?
Now people are saying that yeah, numbers of Savarna creators were making video after election that Dhruv Rathi, Ravish Kumar, such people were very crucial and they were shaping the mind. But in my opinion, those are very good influencers, those are very good content creators, and they have a huge impact on the society. But when you talk about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, or the other backward classes, the message which was coming from the community creators, the community influencers, that message was received very open heartedly by the community people, and they were looking at our content, our things with a trust, because they see that we are from their community, we are their own people, and we were telling that constitution is in danger, the democracy is in danger from the very first day of the 2014 election, how after that Modi government was there in power. So we were like telling the same thing from last 10 years, and we see numbers of creators are there within the community. Like we do Bahujan YouTubers meet every year in India just to train for our community creators. More than 400 creators have participated so far in our program. So there are numbers, thousands of content creators are coming, which are talking about the Constitution of India, which are talking about Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar's ideology, which are telling the people that if Hindu, like Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar said in his book Thoughts on Pakistan or the Partition of India, if Hindu has become a reality, that is going to be a biggest threat, a devastation for the country. It has to be stopped by any cost. So this message was there. People were seeing it directly to the community creators. And now we have numbers of creators who have millions of followers. There are numbers of YouTubers from the community which has more than 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. Even there is a YouTube channel which has around 10 million subscribers in India. So our community creators played a very crucial role. Our community members from the SST OBC community, they played a very role to shape the mind of Dalit Bahujan community that yes, constitution is in danger, because the Modi government, which is saying that we have to start a new constitution to, because see, Vivek Dev Roy, he's the chief financial advisor to the Prime Minister of Narendra Modi. He was writing an article in a paper that we need a new constitution, and we were challenging it. We were making video out of it. We were creating content. We were making reels, we were writing articles. So I believe that especially when you talk about SC/ST OBC community, the Bahujan creators played a very crucial role. Although Dhruv Rathi and other Ravish Kumar and other content creators, they are very big creators. They have a huge fan following. They have a very good subscriber base. But if a community member from the Dalit Bahujan Adivasi background look at their content, they see it just like a video, that okay, just if they are creating content and talking about something, they'll just go and watch their content. But if a community creator is talking about something, about the personal experiences, the personal association with the community, and talking about the safeguard of constitution, that is going to create a huge impact within the community. So I believe that this is just because of the Dalit Bahujan creators. This message was there on the ground. Now the credit is going to different people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The next question is from Lalachi. How can we create more awareness among SC/ST communities who are villainizing and blaming BSP and Vanchit?
Definitely we need to create more awareness within the community, because like Congress was, putting that particular news clip on their social media handles, that there are 16 seats in UP where BSP helped BJP to win. And if BSP was there in alliance, so BJP might have lose those particular 16 seats, more 16 seats in UP. So such narratives are there. These narratives are fake. These narratives are just, just to spread out the lie about the Dalit Bahujan politics, and just to, destroy the image of the Dalit Bahujan politics and the parties, because they don't want a party from Dalit Bahujan itself. They don't want a leadership within the community, but they want them to be the leader of the Dalit Bahujan community. They want to have their own, political gains, and they want to represent them, that okay, we are the representation, we are the representative from the communities, and they should ally with us, and independently there should not be any political party or leadership within the community. So they want it, the opposition parties definitely want it, but it is the duty of the Dalit Bahujan political parties that they need to bring out more democratically to the content creators. Because if I'm going to talk about to Akash Anand, if I'm going to talk about that how the BSP was really working hard to win the election, I was not able to get his interview. He was giving interview to different people, and I gave him more than 15 calls. I spoke to him as a assistant and a member of parliament from Bahujan Samaj Party, that okay, I'm going to talk about particular issues to Akash Anand, but he was not able to give me interview. He said, okay, I'm going to give you interview, but it was like just ignoring the Dalit Bahujan community members and the creators, those who are working in Bahujan media. They are not able to receive any kind of communication from the Dalit Bahujan political parties. We are not able to talk to them. We are not able to receive any political bite from them. So we are like voluntarily making content for them. We are covering their rallies. We are, supporting them. The Dalit Bahujan content creators are going rally to rally every day. They are traveling by themselves. The Bahujan political parties even not recognizing them. They are like not really helping them. Not in terms of monetary, but in terms of content creation. They are not giving them bites. They are not giving them interview. They are not doing anything for the community creators. So how the community creators who are working hard to survive and to make content for their own channels, how they are going to survive? The political party from Dalit Bahujan community need to understand the power of social media. They need to understand the power of Bahujan media, and they need to really do something for the community creators. Because look at the other political party, BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, TMC, BJD. They were just sponsoring everything to the political creators. They were holding meetings. They were, their top leadership was meeting with the different content creators. They were having indoor meetings. They were trying to form alliance with the content creators. They were supporting them, monetary and everything was there. But what about Dalit Bahujan leaders? Even they are not able to give the bites to the content creators. So how that is going to make them a good content creators? How that is going to make them survive? So they need to understand the Dalit Bahujan political party have a good funds. You can't say that they don't have funds. There's lack of funds. Another thing, they can have their own media cell. They can have an IT cell. They can build a team of good IT professionals or the social media content creators, and they can definitely work on them. So it is their duties also. I would say that it is their duty. They need to understand it. They need to value the Dalit Bahujan creators and Bahujan media. Otherwise, how long they will keep, praising them without any kind of recognition?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sumit. And so our next question for you is from Arti. She asks, do you think EVMs were managed in this election, and will they be banned in India in the near future?
See, because the election result was really interesting. So the question of EVM tampering or the manipulation was, it was no more relevant in the election because the result was favorable to the opposition party. So people were not saying that EVM were manipulated. But yes, I believe that EVM can be tempered. It can be manipulated because it is a man-made machine, and it can be tempered at any it is very anybody can do it. Like people are there in the technology area, those who are experts of such kind of technology, and they claim, there are numbers of people who have claimed that this can be tempered and this should not be used in election. And EVM, because it is a man-made machine. It is the chip and the technology which is used in the EVM, that is built by the human resource people only, so that can be tempered. And but in election, you would say that EVM was also a very big issue. People were talking about the EVM manipulation. People were saying that, okay, these elections should be on ballot paper, and if the ballot paper election is there, that manipulation of election won't be easy to them. But due to the favorable results in the election, now opposition people are not really talking about the EVM manipulation. And now they are not able to talk about, though. Although recently there was a tweet by Elon Musk, who is the owner of Twitter X, that EVM should be banned. It is hackable. People can hack it through AI and other tools. So now again there is a debate in India. People are talking about, Rahul Gandhi and different political opposition parties are saying that EVM can be manipulated, but they need to have a movement against EVM. There should be a massive, movement within the community, within the people, because when the result is favorable, these political party, they don't talk about the manipulation of EVM. But once they lost, they lose an election, and they not in the winning position, they blame it on the EVM. So if they really want to, ban EVM, or they want really ballot paper election, they should have a massive people's movement. Actually, people should come on street, but that has to be lead, and that has to be organized by the political parties, because it is their duty. If they are representing themselves and they believe that these organizations, the political parties, are important and elections are important, and EVM is manipulated, EVM can be, manipulated by anybody, they should have a massive movement, the people's movement. They should create that kind of atmosphere where people are, opposing it. Because if you're not in that position. If people are not there in the street, people are not having a movement, which is a massive movement, how the government of India, how the Election Commission of India is going to ban the EVM? So they need to have that kind of, protest, that kind of people's movement against EVM, which political parties are not successfully having it. They are not making any kind of movement. They are not creating any movement within the communities, within the peoples actually.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samichi. In the chat, you'll see some links to Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for the various platforms. So please be sure to check those out, and so we can all support Samichi and support our Dalit News. And does anyone have any other questions, like comments, anything they wanted to share? Yes, you can unmute yourself, Chief.
Thank you, Sumitji, for joining this call and such an enlightening discussion and the speech that you have brought to the audience. Thank you for that. My question is, I know like many of our communities have supported these leaders in the community, and they got elected. Do you think the people who had never kind of favored our community because they did not vote in the past, do you think this time these people will discuss our issues in the parliament? Will they maintain our interest, or will they talk about our interest in the parliament? I mean, the leaders.
I believe that the agenda of social justice set actually. So people from opposition parties, the political parties, they understood that the answer to the fundamentalist and the Qatar Hindutva forces is the Ambedkarism, is the social justice, is the SC/ST OBC's issue. So now you see that every opposition party is praising Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. They are talking about caste census. They are talking about reservation. They are talking about the representation from the communities. They are talking about the attacks on reservation. They are talking about the atrocity. So I believe that they are going to discuss it. And because the agenda is already set, and if you are not talking about social justice, if you're not talking about the community issues, people will again defeat you. They will again, vote against you, because this time, this election was really crucial. This election was really important because the agenda was there: the social justice versus Narendra Modi, Ambedkar versus Manuwad, Constitution versus Modi. So this agenda was there, and people they understood it, and that's why the political parties, they just cash the sentiment of the community. This sentiment was there. People were, they were believing that Modi is really bad for the constitution. Modi is not good for the constitution of India. It's not good for the SC/ST OBC people's welfare. So this sentiment was there, and they just cash it. They understood that, okay, this is going to make a big impact, and the idea of social justice is really important. So they have to talk about, otherwise people will again defeat them in upcoming elections. So I believe that in upcoming elections, in upcoming years, the social justice would be the prime agenda, and the issues of SC/ST OBC would be the prime agenda.
Thank you for that answer. And I just have a follow-up question. There was much discussion about the constitution change, and we see, like, even presentation, as you said, lot of PSUs have been kind of almost eradicated from the public sector in India, right? With that, the reservation also has reduced to none. So do you think what is there left for our community to bank upon, if there are no jobs, if the public sector's institution becoming the privatized and there's no reservation, where, isn't that almost like a changing a constitution indirectly? If there are no interest in the public school are becoming private schools, where the interest of our community is not there. We came from the public school system, right? Our community, I don't think, is that wealthy to get education in the private institution. So indirectly, it's attack on the constitution. It means attack on our social welfare schemes that we are talking about today, even in this call. So, what do you think? And isn't that indirectly change the constitutions?
Exactly. See, every effort, every action which is against the interest of SCST OBC is an action to change the Constitution of India, because the Constitution talk about the safeguard. It talks about the rights and for the community. It talks about the welfare for the SCST peoples, OBC peoples. But look at the government, how the government is working. They are working against the community. So whether it is the privatization of education, whether it is about the privatization of universities and implementing the new education policy and making the institution autonomous and raising the funds and the fees for the courses. So these such attacks are also kind of just to change the constitution, because without changing the constitution, like, you don't need to change it on paper, you can keep it in your action. There was a guy in BJP, Subramaniam Swamy. Once there was a question to him in Rajasthan, Jaipur. He was on interview with someone. So somebody asked him that, are you going to end the reservation? He, answered it very cleverly. He said that we are not going to end reservation and there is no need to end reservation, but we'll make a situation that will create a situation where reservation is no more relevant. So that kind of situation is being created by the governments. They are selling the public sector undertakings. They are selling the government companies to the private hands, and when private entities are entering in the PSUs or other government organizations, there is no reservation, there is no such representation. So now it's a need of ours that we should talk about the reservation or representation in the private sector also. So like Bahujan Samaj Party, Vanchit Bahujan Agadi, or the other Bahujan parties, they talk about the reservation in private sector. So Dalit Bahujan people, Dalit Bahujan community member, they should have a movement. They should agitate. They should, have more and more awareness about the reservation system in the private sector, because government jobs are very few. Government is not nowadays is creating new job opportunities for the communities, because they believe that the government is not there to create jobs, but it is the duty of the private corporate houses to create jobs. Government is just to govern. They want to sit on the back seat and they don't want to drive it. So I believe that we should have a movement. We should have something really huge movement for the reservation. We need to save the reservation in government sector also, but there is a need to ask for the reservation and participation in private sector. But for that particular movement, we should have a political party which is really strong, which is really good, because if we are not into power sharing, if we are not into the making of government, how we are going to implement, how we are going to force our agenda on their plate, on their table, that you need to implement that particular agenda. So on political front also, on society front also, in every front, I would say that we should push the agenda of reservation in private sector. And because now politics is changing, the social justice politics is there. It's kind of Mandal versus Kamandal era. So people are talking about it. If you look at the Congress manifesto, if you look at the Samajwadi Party's manifesto, they are talking about the participation. Jiski jitni sankhya bari, uski utni hissedari. These political parties are also talking like this. So I believe that if we push a little hard, if we keep continuing agitating for it, and have that kind of movement around us, so we can have a better opportunity, and we can also ask for the reservation in private sector. Because without political reservation, without educational reservation, without the reservation in jobs, and without the reservation in private sector, our future is really bad. So we should have the representation, and we should ask for the reservation in private sector also.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Satyanachi, you can go ahead and ask your question. Oh, Satyanachi, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it very much that you did not fall in the trap of just hero worshipping and praise Mayawati ji, Banji, for just because she's our Bahujan leader, Dalit leader, and we need to think on our own what's the right course, particularly.
You're mute, sir. I guess you're not audible.
We should remember how she became chief minister, and there at that time, this Narendra Modi had launched his pogrom in Gujarat, and the whole opposition was in the mood of pulling down this what's his name? The government, the BJP government, NDA government at the time, and she betrayed. She came out in support of the government and sustained it, so that was really, really very shameful. So we should remember some of these things, that how she became chief minister. Even the first time, basically, I think she could have she could have made a better deal with Mulayam Singh if she told him that okay, I'm getting this offer from BJP. I don't know what happened. She just jumped out of the alliance with Mulayam Singh and went with the BJP at the time. So it's we need to think all of these things and take our own stand instead of just becoming blind followers and sing praise in favor of whoever may be the leader at the time. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Satyanachi. So we only have time for one more question. Did you have a question, Satyanachi, or can we move on to Seema ji?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And Seema ji, you can go ahead with your question.
Jyoti, this is actually Ajay Thul. Sumit bhai, Jai Bhim, and thank you for the great work you're doing. What I actually want to say that this is little contrast to the Mr. Chaudhary's question, that when our house is not in order, we just don't leave the house and fix somebody else's house. Right? Since my childhood, I've observed that Congress comes up with some kind of like a propaganda that, just during the election, that, oh, BJP is coming, then all our people, instead of voting our party, they will vote Congress. That I seen for so many years. And every election to election, they do that. So, and I mean, surprisingly, it used to happen before, but surprisingly, even now, our elite, so-called, they also start bashing our parties and praising Congress, or Congress mostly. And so, I mean, if it's our party, there may be some, need to repair, need to, make some changes, but you cannot just start praising other party. we cannot have just BJP and Congress. BJP and Congress, we have to have our own party, third front. Otherwise, Congress will exploit. That's what they've been doing all these years.
Then we'd have to just wait and see, okay, does this hurt?
Yeah.
If it hurts, I'd say,
so
take it out.
What are your thoughts on it?
I completely agree with you, brother, that we should have our own party, and these political parties are exploiting us by, spreading some agendas and narratives that, okay, the big enemy is coming out. But I also believe that it is the duty of the political parties, the Bahujan political parties, which represent us, that they have to have their own kind of agenda. They should have the new style of politics also. They should reach out to the community members, because you cannot take the Dalit votes, the Bahujan votes for granted. It cannot be taken for granted. You need to reach out to different people from the community, because if you see, when Manavar Kanshiram Sahib was campaigning for his political party, when he was standing, he was making awareness about the political power, that we should have the political power, we should make our own government, we should be in the center of the power. That time was different. That situation was really different. But now the things are changing. People are also looking through different perspective. There is a millennial generation now. Gen Z generations are there. How you gonna reach them? How you gonna influence them? How you gonna talk to them? How you gonna have them, the first time voters, to vote for your political party if you're not active for 5 years, if you're not there in the ground for 5 years, if you're not there and doing something really good for the community members? How the community members are going to believe you? If you says that we have done something really good for the community in our own government, in our time, you have to prove it, right? Once a leader, always a leader is not the thing. What is happening around, the Dalit Bahujan leadership has taken the Dalit votes for granted, and they believe that we are the leaders, and these Dalit vote has to come to the our parties only. But things are changing. Political styles are changing now. People are using so many new methods of wooing the votes, like BJP have RSS team. The RSS members are going door to door every day to the community members. They are sitting with the community members, to a Dalit person, sitting with them, having a chai tea with them, and celebrating their birthdays, and going to them and inviting them for their event, and making one-to-one communication, one-to-one contacts with the community members. So they'll say, okay, let's go to Ram temple, let's go to Vaishno Devi, let's go for a religious activity, and they gonna make them their own people. They're gonna woo them. But what about Bahujan Samaj Party? What about the other parties? They don't have communication with the community. There is a huge gap. I am into community journalism, and I am covering all the elections from Bahujan perspective. We have seen that there is a communication gap with the Dalit Bahujan parties. There is a huge gap. If you see, for example, if I say, if I want to take interview of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I can guarantee you that within a week I can have the interview of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If I want to take interview of President of India, Draupadi Murmu ji, I can within a week I can arrange it, because that is accessible. I can go and I ask the interview for anybody, the cabinet minister of India, any cabinet minister, I can go and interview within a week, I can guarantee you. But I cannot even meet Behenji. I cannot even meet their leadership. Even I cannot even able to make them understand that what things are going to change, how things are going to change. So there is a huge communication gap, and they should have to change their old style of politics. They need to have new kind of politics, and they need to have more and more communication with the community, I would say. So if there is a gap between the community and the leadership, the third party, the third person can definitely come and take the benefit of it. As I was talking about in my speech, that the ground was built by the Bahujan Samaj Party. The ground was built by Manavar Kanshiram Sahib, Behenji, and other people from the Dalit Bahujan politics. They built the ground. They seed it. They built everything. And now, because of the community leadership is not very strong, and they are not active, they are not strongly seen in the ground, these other political parties were just, cashing this sentiment of the community. People are already aware about that, what kind of government is this, what kind of actions are there taken by the government of India, by the Modi government. So people were afraid about him. People were afraid about the open statement of changing constitution. But what about Dalit Bahujan leadership? They were not able to win their trust. They were not able to tell them that you don't need to worry about, we are here to protect your interest. You have to be with us and let's have our own things. They were not able to do it. So I would say that yes, definitely, whether it is Congress, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party, any political party, these political parties are Manuvadi. These political parties are going to exploit us. But what about the Dalit Bahujan political leadership? If they are not able to do something, definitely people gonna move. People are not your mere, blind followers only. They have their own mind, they have their own understanding, they have their own problems, they have their own solutions. So they'll definitely look for another one. Look at Chandrasekhar Azad, he won a Nagina seat. So people will definitely look for options. If it is the duty of political parties to prove that yes, we are your leader, we are here to protect your interest. You just can't say that you're a Dalit and you have to vote for a particular party. No, I'm living in Greater Noida, that's close to Delhi. It's been around 10 years that I'm living in apartment here. In last 10 years, not a single person from the Bahujan Samaj Party came to my door to ask my vote, to ask for anything. But you need to understand that on an average, around 3-4 times, BJP people come to my door on names of chanda, on names of any religious activity, on names of making or register anything. They'll come and they'll say, okay, you should get enrolled with the this election ID card, or you should have the benefit, you should have this one. They will come and they'll talk to you. What about Dalit Bahujan politics? If they are not reaching out to their audiences, if they are not reaching to the community members, you can't say that you are just Dalit and you have to vote for it. I'm really disappointed with the Dalit Bahujan leadership nowadays, because they are nowhere. People are suffering a lot. We people in India, there is a huge, rise in terms of Dalit atrocities. The cases are really, more than 57,000 cases of Dalit atrocities were registered in 2022, according to National Crime Record Bureau. Where was Dalit leadership? Where was Dalit leaders? So we have to understand them. We need to understand that if other political parties are capable of, diverting your vote bank, why you are not able to keep them safe? So they need to understand first also. Thank you.
That's a good thing you said, but these are, again, like I said, we need to fix these problems. Whatever you just mentioned, all these things, these are the problems they need to fix. But then again, if you move away from our own parties and go to, let's say, Congress, for example, then what Congress has done for so many years for us, or what they will do, or they will just propagate that this is a B team, that's a B team, and then give us a vote, and then we will come to power and we will not do anything for it. Right? I mean, that's what they've been doing. That's a history, from the past experience. So in that case, our sorry, I mean, our media people or even elites, shouldn't they come up with something to fix these problems? Like, have a delegate meet with the leadership and bring it to their attention, instead of just, okay, they are not doing good, so let's go to some other party and just waste your vote there. Will that be a solution?
See, that is not a solution actually. That just an option. If you're not able to communicate with your own leadership, you're not able to talk to them, and if your suggestions are not welcome there, then you look for some options. And that is what Dalit leadership, Dalit intelligentsia, intellectuals are doing nowadays. Because particularly if you talk about, see, in Maharashtra, you can go and you can meet Mr. Ambedkar, you can, give your suggestions. Those people are accessible. But in UP, if you talk about anything and if you want to meet to Bahujan Samaj Party's supreme leadership, I dare you, you cannot. You can't. That is not accessible. We have tried a lot. I was telling you about that. I was trying to get interview of Mr. Akash Anand. I called him 15 times. I called him, I talked to him, I called his staff that okay, we are going to interview him, and he was giving interview to every media channel, but he was not talking to the Bahujan media. The Bahujan media, which is continuously talking about the Bahujan Samaj Party or the Bahujan politics, and talking really good for the parties, they are not able to talk to the community journalists. They are not able. They did want to communicate with the community journalists, and meanwhile, the other political parties, they are inviting you to their houses. They are giving you interviews. They are offering you meetings, and they are saying, okay, let's come and sit with the agenda. We are going to make our manifesto, and let's give your suggestion, and we'll implement, we'll put those suggestions in our manifesto. What would the Dalit people do? If you're not able to give pass to your suggestion to your own political party, and your own political party is not welcoming you, they're not listening you, then definitely a Dalit person, a Dalit intellectual or somebody will, they might be useful for somebody else. And it's their own mind, it's their own, understanding that how they look at it. But I would say that it's the duty of the Dalit leadership that they need to prove their leadership to everybody. You just can't take them granted. Otherwise, all other political parties are, just waiting for you. They are just waiting for the right moment. They're gonna, impress you. They're gonna have you in their own party. But what about the Dalit Bahujan leadership? They need to keep their own people with them. They need to have the trust. They need to believe within the community members, and that's how the trust is there. Otherwise, how long you gonna vote? How long you gonna think about your own political party? For example, me, I belong to Haryana, and my voter list is there in Haryana. Every year I goes to my village and vote for BSP. In my entire life I have I keep voting for BSP only. My entire family, they keep voting for BSP. And in my area there is no chance of winning. BSP people can can never win there, because they are not relevant in that area, and their politics is not relevant in my constituency, and they hardly get around 10,000 votes in parliamentary election. But still we vote for them, because we believe that yes, our own political party is really important for the community, and we should have our own political party. But for how long I'll keep wasting my vote? That question will definitely will come to my mind someday, that okay, you're going to vote for a candidate whom you're not even aware about, but you're voting for the symbol, you're voting for the Bahenji, you're voting for the Bahujan Samaj Party. But for how long? If your candidate is not winning, if your candidate is not relevant, if your candidate is not coming to your house to ask for your vote, why are you voting for them? Why are you wasting your vote? That question will definitely come to a voter's mind. And we need to understand the political behavior. We need to understand their political, pattern, that how the pattern is changing, how the Dalit Bahujan people are, changing their political behavior. That might be impressed, that might be influenced by other political parties, but why the Dalit Bahujan political parties are not able to to have that belief, to make that understanding within the community, that okay, we are your own community organizations, and we are here to help you, we are here to make your something really good for you. So they need to build the trust also. And if they are not able to do it, definitely sooner or later Dalit will definitely shift, because in like apart from UP or Maharashtra, in Haryana, in Punjab, in Rajasthan, what about Dalit politics? There is no Dalit political party relevant there. They are not winning. They are not giving winning candidates. They're not getting any seat over there. So how long people will keep, you know, giving votes for such parties if they are not able to win? So they should have alliance. They should have their own strategy. They should have more aggressive in terms of campaign. They should build something really good for their political parties. If we see that these political parties are going to win, a candidate is winnable, would that candidate can, you know, secure victory. There is kind of wave, you know, in elections, people, numbers of voters, they just goes with the wave. They never think about anything else. They say, okay, iski hawa hai, iski hawa chal rahi hai, usko ye to jeet jayega, and they keep voting for the same person. So that narrative, that hawa, that you know, has to build by the Bahujan political parties, and it is their responsibility. If you are there and you're saying that I'm your leader, you need to prove that you're my leader.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Sumit ji, for answering all the questions. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. I know we probably had a few more questions, but it just goes to show how important this topic is. But it is time to conclude our online with the Vihara session for today. I wanted to thank Venerable Bhante Shivali ji for blessing us with the Dhamma discourse for today. Thank you, Vismay, for sharing with us a very nice, very motivational story. Thank you, Kranti ji, for arranging that session, and thank you to all the kids for participating today. And many, many thanks to our guest speaker, Sumit Chauhan. Thank you so much for coming on here and enlightening us with the current political state in India and just sharing with us your thoughts and answering all our questions so wonderfully. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the participants who joined today, who asked questions and who shared their thoughts with us. We hope that you join us next week as well. But thank you so much. With that, I'd like to conclude today's online Vihara. Jai Bhim and Namo Buddhaya. Thank you.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Jai Bhim.